Hi and welcome to this video where I'm gonna share my experience and some thoughts about the Course in Miracles. So I've recently, a while ago, finished the last lesson of the workbook, and I've been following Carol Howe's daily lesson videos on YouTube, where she go in depth in each of the lesson. It started a year ago. When I first come in contact with the course, it was probably a couple of years ago, but I never looked. I just heard it by name, and but I never did find any interest in it or looked deeper into what it was. So I came by this interview with Carol Howe, where she talked about the course, and her words so resonated with me. She was speaking of the course like a teaching of non-duality, and the core teachings of the course. And by then I was really intrigued, and I decided to go to her website and put myself on this email list. And I got this inner intuitive guidance that was saying to me, you're gonna do this course now, you're gonna devote yourself to this course now for a year. And I didn't even know what it was, like in terms of how the lessons work or anything. But usually when I get guidance like that, it's a good. I've learned that it's a good it's a good practice to follow that, because it usually turns out pretty good, and yet again it has done. So just from one day to the next, I was deeply immersed into this teaching, and I remember by lesson 40, it was called, I remember this day very clearly, but the lesson was, I am blessed as a son of God. I think it was lesson 40 or 30, but and it previously it had asked you to kind of, let's say, 1 or twice a day you're gonna do 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there, go gently, and that day it asked you to every 10 minutes to make the statement, or to practice the teaching of this day. Well, that's how I interpret, at least, too. And I was like, okay, I consider myself quite mindful and quite present with my thoughts and inner world. But every 10 minutes, I gotta admit that was quite challenging, and I realized quite fast that okay, I need to do put some alarm on my phone or something, and I did. So I put this vibration on my phone every 10 minutes, and it was just how crazy fast a 10 minutes goes. So by each practice session is done, the next one rings, and you're gonna do it. And I realized quite fast, it's just easier to mantra, to not do every 10 minutes, but to do every moment this lesson now. I was like, okay, just do this day now. We don't know if it's gonna keep doing this for 300 more days, but this day let's devote ourselves fully. So I was singing the mantra of I am blessed as a son of God, and kind of feeling it, and I'm letting everything else kind of go on autopilot, like everything, my ordinary things. And I was not putting so much attention, and I was just doing that. And I remember about by night when I was gonna go to sleep, and I did the last kind of I'm blessed as a son of God. I was like, wow, this has been a quite an exhausting day, I must admit, quite mentally, to just keep this rolling. But from that day on, something shifted in me, where it now was easy to, because thankfully, well, I say thankfully, but it didn't keep going to ask you to every 10 minutes go, but it asks you like hourly, consider the lesson, maybe take 5 minutes of each hour or so. So, and that was suddenly much easier. It was like, it's actually from that day on, every lesson started to be kind of a mantra for me, and the whole course was starting to be my main focus in life, and everything else kind of go, as I said before, on autopilot. I was doing the things I usually do, but I was doing it from like a new sense, a new kind of place where the lesson was more real in each moment, and I could usually relate to the lesson in each moment also. So I was interacting with someone, then the lesson would take over how I interacted with the person, and it was a very lovely shift there for me. And of course, we all have good or bad days, and it was like not very, but yeah. And something else I want to touch upon is how lovely the course takes your hand and really helps you to practice the lessons also. Meaning, many lessons have some kind of theme, or but let's say every 20 lessons, usually, if I remember correctly now, but there might be themes, so like say 10 lessons we're going into forgiveness or something, and I don't consider myself, and I wasn't even before, to have resent or judgment about people a lot, like not to the point where I would easily find people that I would want, that I would feel like I have a lot of resent against or something, or that I feel like a victim in some kind. But when a lessons came, because some of the lesson was like, you're gonna find in each practice session, you're gonna find someone that really you feel something against, and you're gonna switch that, and maybe see them as that innocent child or something. And it was a lot of lessons like that, where you're gonna find someone, and this, what happened for me was, without exceptions, every time a lesson like that came, something would happen, either that day, the day before, or just generally in my life, that I now could practice on. So someone would do something that would just trigger me, like sometimes immensely. And at that same day, I would get a lesson that would work with just that. And I hope this makes sense, but some lessons during the course are more like, you're not so focused on you're gonna find something to forgive or something, And on those days, I didn't have someone that triggered me. I could practice that instead, in a way. Uh, and I was not overwhelmed by all these feelings. So each, I think a big part of that is because I was very devotional to the course, and I asked, like, guide me, show me, uh, and it did. So yeah, that's a very funny. I feel, and yeah, it's a lovely, as Carol Howe states, that it's a spiritual technology for rewiring your brain, and not only does it keep you mindful, but it really, the mantras, that the lessons that you are running through your brain are so life affirmative, so beautiful and heartwarming, and just so beneficial for us. Yeah, I remember the lesson, like saying, today I will look with the eyes of Christ. I think it's like that. And you go around and almost like you put on a lens. This is just my experience, but you put on a lens of the course of Christ's eyes. And I was that song of that lesson was just singing through my day, and I had so many beautiful experience during this year. And at first, it was quite challenging. It's always challenging to do something new, or to really change something, and to look deeply into things that you are maybe identified with, attached to, and I just felt, but by the end of the course, I was like, no, please don't go. I want to do 300 more lessons. I was looking forward to each day, because I just felt how good I felt when I did this practice of the course. It was funny, but yeah. So so after that, the core teaching of peace, of love, of forgiveness, to see the truth, to see the self with a capital S in everything and everyone as a lifestyle, just keeps running through me. And yeah, I'm probably gonna do lessons again sometime, probably not so in a distant future, I think, but we'll see. So yeah, so I hope. I have no idea how long this video is now. Time stops when you're present. Well, time stops for me, but it goes quite fast out there. But yeah, so everyone that's maybe struggling with the course or having a good time, keep going, trust the process, and yeah, thank you for watching, and peace and love to everyone. Thank you.